All right. What's up, guys? Facebook Live. Brian Dale's here with Craft Conversations. I'm sitting down with Mr. Tommy Altair.
How's it
He's
going,
my roommate, by the way, in case anybody doesn't know. I think pretty much everybody does know, but that was Ghost in Our Eyes, right?
That's correct.
And that's what, off of your solo project?
Yes, that's a single that I released. Solo project. It's called Ghost in Our Eyes, and I also have an EP called Night Themes.
Night Dreams?
Night Themes.
Night Themes.
Night Themes. Five songs.
I like Night Dreams, too. That'd be a good
Good
album title.
Well, Night Themes, you know. You can dream a lot.
So the EP, where can you find any of that stuff?
On
really?
any major music app, if you have iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, you can. It's on YouTube as well. Like you can find it on YouTube as well. So.
Right on, man. Yeah, because I looked it up earlier. It was on YouTube. I saw like a playlist of like 6 tracks or something.
Yeah, 6. That's the 6 that I have released.
Okay, so that's all 6 of them.
Yeah, that's all 6.
Okay,
so far. Yeah.
And when was that released?
July 24th, I believe. Of at least Ghost in Our Eyes was, and I'd have to look back at the EP. It's been a while since I looked, but I released it and kind of just let it out and didn't tell a lot of people. But now I'm gonna go ahead and start just letting the cat out of the bag a little bit. So
very cool, man. So we'll talk about a little bit more about that in a second, but just to let everybody know what we're doing. I normally do this show, Craft Conversations. I do this. Normally post everything on Instagram and repost to Facebook. It's normally recorded. So this is my first real live show. I guess I did one with Fleming Moore when he was running for mayor. We did a live mayoral forum. Hey, I never can say that damn word. Mayoral. Is that how you say it?
Mayoral forum?
Yeah. I always get tongue-tied when I say that word. But so anyway, I did one live then, but this is going to be the first one live here on Facebook. But I'm also recording it, so you'll be able to catch it on Facebook later on. When it archives, and then you'll also be able to catch it on all the other podcast platforms, YouTube, all that good stuff when I put the actual video and stuff together. So
is it mayoral?
Boring stuff.
Mayoral?
No, it's mayoral.
Mayoral?
Yeah, but it's just that middle part just kind of ties my tongue up. I don't know why, but. So what are you working on now? I mean, I know, well, let's talk about this. So we got Blue Spear up here on the screen. That's the main project that you're a part of, right? Blue Spear.
Yeah, Blue Spear. We took a little hiatus, but we're Scott and I are starting to write again a little bit on music, and we've got some things going on in our life. A lot of us do, obviously, with coronavirus and various things. But we're still writing and working on some new projects, and sometimes people take a little time away and do some things that they want to do on their own and see what they can get out of that too. So yeah, that's what's up right now with that. So
is there a name of your project, or is it just your name?
You talking about Blue Sphere?
No, your solo project.
The EP is Night Themes, and so
but you don't have like a separate band name for yourself. I mean, it's just Tommy Altair.
Just Tommy Altair.
Okay,
it's just me right now. Who knows? I might have some.
Altair or Altair?
Altair.
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 All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter, but I think I was saying it wrong.
Altair. It's close enough.
Yeah. So when can we?
Say what they want to say anyway.
All right. So you got that EP out there. Blue Spear doesn't have an album, do they, or an EP or anything?
No, we are. We had some issues, but we plan on trying to get into the studio in the summer and record about 3 or 4 of our songs, and that was one of our priorities. So that will happen pretty soon. So we're looking forward to that and releasing some of our material that we've been wanting to do it for a long time. It wouldn't take us any time to get it done. So we just got to get to it. But like I said, we have full-time jobs, and it's hard for us to do what we want to do all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So who are you going to record with? I mean, you would do something like that here? You got somebody lined up, or do you want to mention any names? Or
no, we don't really have anybody we at the moment considering. Mitch Webb, who used to own Manus Records in Park Circle, and he has a place up toward Asheville, and we were planning on recording with him. He's got a bed and breakfast, and I'm sorry, I don't even know the name of it. A bed and breakfast for musicians to come up there and stay and record a full album, and it's a really great concept. But we were supposed to be kind of his science project, but he had to take care of some things, and it kind of fell through. But we'll figure something out. There's a couple of people out there that we're looking into, but we're very picky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anybody's out there that's wants to bid for the job, hit us up in the comments or something.
Real drums, though. No drum machine. a place to put real drummers. So it's important. So
Okay.
yeah, nothing wrong with drum machines. Love drum machines too.
Right.
Just
So
want to run them.
Right. So you say you're taking a little hiatus. I mean, I know, working up there at Homegrown and being around town and stuff, I see all the time people are asking me, when is Blue Spear playing again? Especially like Studio 117, they, being over there. And people want to know when they can get around and see you again and when you guys get back together. So is there a timeline on the hiatus?
Well, we hopefully sometime in the summertime we'll get back to it. I mean, I think that's...
Well, it depends a lot on this fucking thing we're going through right now, too.
It's tough to say, but we have some things that we're working on, and hopefully in the next few months we'll have more of a idea of what we're going to do. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's...
But it gives you more time right now with what's going on to work on your solo shit, right? I mean,
work on my solo and also Blue Sphere, and just reflect on things in life.
So when I hear you doing some stuff down there, you're kind of working on stuff for both of them.
But yeah, I mean,
I guess they can kind of interchange with each other, right?
I'm open to. I write songs in the sense of not in the manner of like this is mine and that's there. It's more of a, you like this, you want to do it, and if you want to do it, great. If you don't, then well, maybe I'll just keep it for myself.
Right. And I don't even know the answer to this question, but when you guys have performed as Blue Spear, have you performed some of your solo stuff, or have you not intermixed it with that?
Not really. No.
It's a little different vibe.
Not too much. That's to a point. I mean, we have so many songs that we've written together that, like, Scott did his more of a solo stuff, and Blue Sphere kind of, the whole thing with Blue Sphere was Scott was doing the solo stuff, and we were trying to incorporate Blue Sphere slowly because we needed to put a band together to do it.
And we're talking about Scotty Oliver.
Scotty Oliver Band.
Yeah, his album is All Aboard.
All Aboard, which is an outstanding album. If you haven't checked that out, it's called All Aboard. And you can find that on all major, all major music apps as well. And his music would be, I'd say, more like Americana, bluesy, and very, very soulful music as well. But Blue Sphere was something kind of, we incorporated. The more we found the artists, the musicians that we could play with that music, and he and I write together a lot. So, but I write a lot of stuff on my own that I've never really introduced, and of course he writes a lot of stuff. So it was kind of keep it separated. But I think more and more we're starting to, get more involved with instrumentation and writing together as well. And like this past week, we started working on music again, and we're very excited about what we're working on. So.
Right. Yeah. And we were going to try and get him actually in here with us tonight, but decided it probably wasn't the best idea to be exchanging houses and going back and forth and all that stuff. So I don't know. Probably safe, but as they say, better safe than sorry, I guess. So
exactly.
But yeah, we'll get you guys together. And matter of fact, I don't remember what the episode was, but you guys were on together earlier in the show. I mean, it's almost been 2 years now, I think. But I think you guys were, hell, I don't fucking know.
It was
it was an early show. It was like number 16 or 18 or something. It was early, but
what was it? It Is What It Is episode.
Yeah, the Is What It Is episode. Yeah. That was awesome, man. So if you haven't seen that episode, get out there and watch that. And I'll put in the comments when I actually look it up because my phone's up there, and I can tell you what episode that was because it was a fun episode. But
it was a fun episode. I got bit by a spider at that time. I had got bit in my forehead, and for some reason it affected my singing. So.
Really?
Wasn't at my best. Yeah,
I don't even remember that.
Struggling, man.
Coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, it still sounded great. I think y'all did 3 songs?
I think we did 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah, did a couple over here and then one in what we called the carpet corner at one point when we were doing stuff. That was good times, but
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you're learning to play guitar right now too, right? I mean, you're normally just as well. Take us back because you and Scotty's known each other since like 5 years old or something, right? And y'all have done a bunch of projects together. But at one point you played drums, right? But now you're like just mainly a singer.
No, I play drums and I play keys, and I've always played guitar. I'm just not. I'd rather write songs with it. I just don't like having a guitar in front of me before me. I'd much rather let somebody else do that and let me perform and sing. But, playing is I've always had a... I mean,
is that kind of part of it where you like to be free and dancey and stuff and you don't want to be hindered by the instrument?
And hindered by the instrument. I'm not a solo, I'm not going to get up there and rip on a guitar. I'm a writer. I'll write something and then, hey, take this and make something with this. I mean, I would love to be able to just get up there and funk away on guitar. Who knows, I might do it, but I like the freedom of moving around on stage, and and also I'm not a outstanding guitar player, as you would say. I'm not.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, but no, I mean to get out there and play and solo and things like that. That's not my strength by any means. But
yeah.
Do more like how James Brown would just write something and say, "Hey, make this sound good." Well, he was pretty. Actually, I take that back. James Brown told you exactly what he wanted. He really fire you. So.
Yeah, and I think originally I had in my mind that you were going to maybe play a tune or two, but we're not quite ready for that.
No. I'm just
still learning.
No, just not ready.
Okay.
I'm still working on my stuff, and just want something mellow right now. So it's kind of a mellow night.
Right. So the song we played at the opening of the show, "The Ghost in Our Eyes." Mm. So the stuff you're working on now, is it similar to that type music that we just heard at the front? But
no. I mean, I have that too. I mean, I have very kind of pop-ish or alternative pop music with a kind of a dance feel, but I've also got ballad type stuff, soulful stuff that and maybe kind of neo soul in a way that I'm working on too. So I just whatever mood I'm in, I'll write something if I like it and hopefully put it out. I mean, it doesn't, it's how I feel at the time.
Right. Yeah. Cool. So I just want to say hey to, and you can say hey too if you want, Tommy, but a lot of people joining us online. We got a lot of people just saying hey and checking in and saying that they're here. People watching, Paul Pietrofesso, Paul Stone of the Paul Stone Project asked, "Where's Leia?" Leia, actually, Tess was almost right. Leia's laying down here underneath the camera, so I'm hoping that she
knocked out.
Yeah, she's knocked out, but hoping she didn't get up and knock the cameras loose, because I meant to actually put her outside before we started, so that didn't happen. But so thanks for the question, guys. Hello, everybody. We're not going to make this real interactive. I don't know, maybe occasionally we will, but just trying to run this thing kind of like I do it normally, where we just have a conversation, and we may interject with some stuff here as I see it pop up. So if you see me looking at the screen, I'm not ignoring you. I'm still listening. I'm just trying to see what people are saying down here. This is all new for me right now, so. But it's fun. Something different.
This is cool, man. It's good to get people involved, and it's tough with the situation. People aren't able to get out and do the things they like to do, and we don't ask for much in this world, but the little things that we have, sometimes we take for granted. And,
for sure. I think everybody's going to come out of this realizing tons of things that they took for granted.
Like toilet paper.
Like toilet paper, yeah. I saw something or heard something on Howard Stern the other day, actually, speaking of just taking things for granted and things changing. But a lot of the grocery stores now are paying attention to what's left on the shelf in the store and realizing what the essential items are and what maybe you'll probably see some prices go up on some of the essential things. But I think grocery stores are probably going to streamline their process there because they know what people really want. And then they said something else that was funny, that you realize you look on all the shelves and all the gluten-free stuff is still on the shelves. So all of a sudden nobody has a gluten intolerance anymore. Everybody's like, give me all the gluten. Give me all the bread.
Oh, it's... I guess people feel like, hey, I got enough toilet paper and I've got issues.
Yeah.
Eat all the bread you want, I guess. I don't know. But,
right. But this is probably giving you, because I know it's giving me more time to reflect and kind of think and be a little bit more creative, like we're doing right now. And I've seen it everywhere, especially as far as musicians. Musicians have had to find a new venue or an avenue to get their stuff out there, and they're using Facebook Live and Instagram and YouTube and all these things to do it. Are you doing any of that stuff? Are you going to go do any live events? You don't even have a Facebook account, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not with the times on Facebook and things like that.
Right, so you might be missing out on some good advertisement and some good promotion out there.
Well, I'm advertising right now. So
well, that's
check out my music on iTunes and or any major music apps. You can find look for Tommy Altair.
Right.
And Blue Sphere, we will probably try to do something very similar to that very soon. At least Scott and I will work on doing something like that, doing a couple of songs, maybe some acoustic acts and things like that with Facebook.
What have you been doing differently? I mean, I know you're still working. not as much as you were. But like I said, I've noticed everybody getting more creative. Even I've been writing some amateur poetry and posting it up on Facebook and kind of getting a little creative just based on the times and doing this. I see all the musicians doing the Facebook Live. Haven't seen any live stand-up comedy yet. I don't think that would work because I think you have to have the audience.
Well, you can do canned laughter.
I guess you could. Yeah, you could put some canned laughter in there. But I'd like to see some comedians start to get out there and do some 5-10 minute comedy shows or something on YouTube. Go live.
They could do some really funny skits and incorporate acting skills and which comedians always have been very outgoing and charismatic with their body language. One of the ones that I've seen, I've always enjoyed.
Yeah.
They could, most definitely could pull it off. What's your favorite comedian? Do you have a favorite comedian? Yeah.
Probably my favorite if I had to pick a favorite, would be George Carlin. I think he's probably one of my favorites of all time.
I think George Carlin would be my favorite. Yeah, I think George Carlin is...
Hey, Leia, come here. Come here. People are wanting to see Leia. Let me bring her up here. Leia, come here. Come here. I know we're taping. You're not supposed to move, but come up here. Come here. Up here. Up. How come you never cooperate when I want you to cooperate? Ugh. I don't know if anybody can see you. Can anybody see you? Hello? Hello? Look over there, Leia. All right. She's not cooperating. But here's Leia. This is my dog, if you don't know. Okay. See you later. Go back to the camera. So have you done anything new creative-wise since we've been on lockdown? I mean, we're coming up on the 15-day quarantine thing that Mr. Trump...
written lots of songs.
You're just doing mostly just more music.
More music, more music. That's it, really. Just written a lot, gone outside a little bit in sunlight, because I don't really get out in the sun much.
I know, I think when you first moved in, I thought maybe you were a vampire. But
Yeah. I thought so. I started thinking maybe I was one too, but no. But I just getting outside and enjoying the weather. I mean, the skies have been absolutely crystal blue, and just enjoying nature. Yeah.
Here's a comment I got from Mr. Fleming Moore. Fleming Moore ran for mayor, by the way, if you don't know, but he didn't win. He got a few votes. It was better than 0 votes, but he didn't get a whole lot of votes. But I'm thinking he should have got all the votes now because I haven't heard anything from our current mayor, Mr. Ricky Waring. So if anybody can go check on Ricky and just make sure he's okay. But I don't think anybody has heard anything during this crisis from our mayor of Somerville. So, but anyway, Fleming Moore commented that he heard Blue Spear was appearing at Bummerville Amphitheater, which is now in his backyard. So is that true?
That's possible. That's a very possible thing. You know, I cannot deny or confirm that.
Okay.
So but I would love to guarantee it. I've seen that backyard. That's a fun backyard and fun people to hang out with. So,
right.
Yeah.
And speaking of Bummerville Amphitheater and Fleming and stuff, just a real quick plug. So Bummerville Amphitheater was supposed to be gone. I thought it was going away after the first of the year, but I guess he's resurrected it, Mr. Fleming Moore. And I know we had talked at one time about rebranding and maybe trying to do something different with Bummerville, but I guess he's rolling with the one he's already got. It's a nonprofit. He's moved the stage from behind Garen's pharmacy to his backyard and doing live venue shows from his house. The Flim Shady Rest is what he calls it. And we were really going to kick it up in March and April, and then this whole pandemic thing came along. So we've done a couple live shows from the backyard. We've kind of stopped doing those now as well. But we were doing a benefit when this thing started for food and bev workers. So there's a bunch of displaced workers here in Somerville, and Fleming works with quite a few of them over there at Kickin' Chicken. So we started a fundraiser to raise $5,000 to divvy out to 10 different food and bev workers. So it'd be $500 a piece for those 10 that we would choose. And of course, it's going to be based on need and necessity. We're not just going to give 10 random people $500. But so that's the thing. So if you can get out there to bummerville.com, when you first get to the website, there's a red donate button right on the front page. Just hit the donate button. Donate what you can for these food and bev workers that are displaced. I got no job right now. So anyway, so I want to plug that in real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I work in food and bev, and I know a lot of you guys out there do too. So we all have to support ourselves and support each other. It's very important times, and stay positive and keep your heads up. Though I think we will. I think it's going to get scary, obviously, before it gets better. But I have faith in that things are going to get better pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, they have to, right? They have to go back the other direction eventually.
Yeah. And
unless it just wipes us all out completely. But
no.
I mean, there's always a possibility. But yeah, it's got to go back the other direction. But it's just what people don't know is the timeline, man. It's just
you just have to take care of yourselves and take it serious, and don't go too left, don't go too right. Just use common sense about things. I mean, I think that's the most important thing. Don't feed into conspiracy theories, but then, don't go dancing out there, thousands of people, and because you don't believe it's real. People are actually dying, so
yeah,
and people are getting sick, and I think that's the main thing. Is just you have to stay in the middle, keep common sense, and just heed the warnings, man. Nobody wants to be sick.
No, definitely not.
It's not worth it.
And I know it's all psychosomatic, and I'm sure it's happening with everybody across the population. That I've felt a couple times like, should I go to the ER and get checked out and get a test? I mean,
I washed my hands, by the way.
Yeah, I wiped everything down earlier, actually, with a wipe. But as I touched my face,
I just touched my face. I just remember that. It's like,
yeah,
weird.
But what was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying.
You're saying psychosomatic. So
So I mean, I've had a couple times, where I'm out and about and I'll sneeze or I'll start coughing. I'm like, fuck, I've got the coronavirus. It's hard not to kind of think about those things sometimes.
Well, sneezing is, from what I understand, is not one of the major symptoms, and even if you're stuck coughing, I mean, I think the first sign is you have to have a serious high fever first, and then the coughs begin. After the coughs. I
mean, even if you have symptoms, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are asymptomatic, don't even know they got it.
Yeah,
so
you have
that's the other part of the problem is people are getting out and about, and that's fine. They say, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm not going to infect anybody."
Right.
Well, you might not be fine.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
And you might not ever get sick. You might just get like a little chill, a little fever. You're done, and then you still have it, and you're giving to everybody else. You get over it, but this person here gets it, and they get hospitalized from it, and that's the scary thing about this virus is that it's got a 14-day incubation period for a lot of people. I think they've done research and said about after 4 to 5 days, most people start seeing some form of symptoms. Some people don't start seeing things until 14 days later, and that's tells you that it has a long, longevity, which. But, at the same time, that's scary. But if you're doing what you're supposed to be and giving your 6 feet away and staying out away from people and not going out and make sure you're washing your hands right and keeping your hands out your face, and you should be fine. I really believe that. You should be fine.
Yeah. So I know Accidental Wine is still open. I don't want to talk bad about anybody who's still open or anything, but I will. I guess I did last night on my podcast last night. If you haven't heard it, I did one last night with Slayton Johnson actually called in on that episode, so you can find it on YouTube and all the platforms. But have you heard anything new from you guys? Are you guys still planning on just riding it out and staying open?
We are doing grab and go. We're doing grab and go and working on possible delivery service and things, but we are very clean.
They're working on delivery, so you're not doing delivery at the moment?
We are. I think we actually started Friday
to
start doing some deliveries and so forth. But we're very, very clean, very careful, and we're not having people obviously lined up to come in. I mean, we
so a typical day. So what's today? Saturday. So last day you worked was Wednesday, I think, or
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. So a typical shift that you work, how many people were you seeing over
there? Within the day...
Damn bug bites.
Within the day, I think I probably 20, 25 people. So it's not a lot of people coming in.
Right. And that's just 1 and 2s coming in, taking off.
They're coming in, they're leaving, and we also have pickup service, so we can bring it to your car. If you don't want to come in, we'll do that.
Did they even come into your place, or are y'all doing everything from the sidewalk?
You can come in, and we don't allow you to touch. We have to get the wines for you and so forth. So that's important. So if people want to come in and get wine, we pick it up for you because we don't want the customers to get infected if there's something out there, which they should be fine. But we just don't want hands on everything. So we're very particular about that. We're wearing gloves. We're sanitizing, and we're about as, I mean, we're safe as you can get.
Right.
There's.
That's good. Sound like y'all are doing it right. And I know a lot of people out there. Everybody out there is trying their hardest to do it correctly, but I'm just worried there's too many businesses open that, and most of them small businesses that are trying to stay afloat. But at what cost?
It's tough. It's tough. Well, it's tough. And so it's a double-edged sword. How.
And I say some people are selfish about it, but I think they're selfishly doing it for their employees as well. But still, I don't know. It's
I've seen some places
is a
where
wine
they're
bar
people outside
a necessity?
Well, food is a necessity, and I feel that no, I don't think wine and beer are necessities, but that's the case.
I mean, I think liquor stores are considered an essential.
Well,
and I think the argument I've heard is, well, there's some alcoholics out there that if you cut off their alcohol, it's going to be bad news for them. So.
That's part of it, and then people want to have something in their homes to, I don't know what they use to cope, but people drink wine, people drink beer, people need some kind of comfort to make them, feel good about what's going on. I mean, it's hard to tell people to go out and enjoy a nightlife, and then all of a sudden say, well, you got to stay practically a prisoner in your own home until we say it's okay. And people need some form of comfort, whether it's wine or foods of some sort. And it's hard to say, well, you're just going to drink water, get proper protein and this and that, and then, stay up and then go to bed. And it's like, what's the point of living if you're not enjoying your life? So if you're stuck in a place where you don't really have things that excite you in life, and I'm not saying that you can become creative as a person, and you can do those things too, but
I mean, one thing is that it might have helped some people stop drinking, as a matter of fact.
Maybe.
Most people, or a lot of people I know, we're at the bars every single night drinking, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably one of them, but maybe not a bar, but I go to a lot of restaurants and have some drinks here and there.
Right. Well,
matter of fact, thank you, Tess Altman, for the beer. This is a Lagunitas. That was delivered to me yesterday, so I appreciate the beer. That was nice.
I did have one of those Lagunitas, and it was quite very
it's tasty.
Very
it's good beer. I talked about it last night already, so I'm not going to go ahead and plug them again. But you said something earlier about being a prisoner. So what are your thoughts on? Have you heard the news about them releasing some prisoners because of the overcrowding in the prisons and some
I think if it's prisoners that.
Non-violent offenders or whatever.
That I think a lot of the prisoners in the first place are in there for way too long for some of the things they're up in there for. They should let them go anyway. I mean, some of people that probably dealt some drugs or something that a little small amount of something. But
right, but I'm not saying the moral aspect of it or whatever. Should they be released from jail? But
how do I feel about it?
How do you feel about it? Those people coming back into society.
Well, it depends on how long they've been out of society. That's
right.
I mean, if you went to jail, I don't know what, like pettiness for 15 years in prison, and they let you out, and technology's changed, and I guess the time is better than any to let them out since unemployment's staggering, and I don't know, if they have a place to go to, at least I hope,
Yeah.
That's got to be tough. It's scary too, but they probably feel great. They're like, hey, it's a lot different. Going home and being home in the comfort of your home than being in a prison. You have to, unfortunately, share a bathroom with complete strangers. It's got to be pretty, not exciting.
No.
Not
at all. But
maybe for some people.
Yeah. And I'm not really minding this lockdown so much. I mean, depending on how long it lasts, but I'm a pretty secluded person anyways, for the most part, unless I'm going to work. I mean, even if I go out somewhere, I'm usually sitting by myself. I usually don't go with somebody. I sit by myself and put a headphone in and listen to a podcast or news or entertainment, music, whatever. So this lockdown isn't really a big deal to me. And of course, being in the military, being in deployments and stuff, I've been in many situations where I've locked down. And I've been in many places where there was no pornography, there was no alcohol, there was no this and that. So it's not really that big of a deal. But people that have never known anything like that, this has got to be a tough deal for them.
Yeah, and I'm very similar to you. I'm quite comfortable on my own. I don't need a lot of stimulation from other people to get me through it. I mean, I love people. Don't get me wrong, but I work in a bar and I'm around people a lot. And but when I get off of work, I go to the place where it's quietest and where not a lot of people are. You know, and when I come home, I'm in my room most of the time or just chilling out. You know, I like to keep to myself. So this isn't something that's really horrible to me. I feel bad for other people more than anything. And then there's that little time every once in a while you get the inkling. It's like, man, I'd love to go out just to have a beer or go somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure. But, I mean, there's a lot of extroverts out there and social, butterflies that it's probably dying right now. I mean, it's killing them not to be able to go out and have physical contact with people.
They're probably going out somewhere anyway. So
could be some of them. I've definitely seen some of that, but
I'm sure some kind of underground clubs out there somewhere that they're doing that stuff. But.
Right. Let's go back to Accident Wine for a second, or just businesses in general. So you said that you're all starting to do some deliveries, but you also got curbside. So I posted this question last night on Facebook. Which do you think gives you the more of a chance to spread this virus? A delivery driver taking stuff from their business out to your door, or people going into that business? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think that either one, as long as you're keeping your distance and you're doing the right thing. So, for instance, if your delivery driver obviously washes their hands and they're wearing gloves, you should be fine. There should be no reason that the delivery driver is keeping their hands clean and out of their face, delivering things and the packaging. Those things, everyone's concerned about. But if you're playing your cards right, you're wiping the things down, you're packing the things in a manner that are safe for the customer to realize. And a lot of times we're delivering and we're just sitting on the porch and you go. We're not giving it to the people.
And that's true too. If you've used the app and you've paid your money already, you just leave it on the driver.
Yeah, people coming in,
or not drive it porch.
Not like I said, we're not having lines out the door. I honestly, I think the grocery stores are probably the most dangerous place to get in contact with something, because if it's crowded and you're going down an aisle and you got 10 people all butted up against each other, and you just walk past somebody that's got it, that's a chance you can get it.
There's a possibility for sure. I mean, the times I've gone during this thing to the grocery store, even if most times I've walked down an aisle, there's been one other person on the aisle that I've been walking down, and everyone has made it a point to stay away from each other and wait for you to move away from the place you were, and they kind of inch in. But yeah, to your point, if this thing is an aerosol, once you sneeze and that thing goes out in the air 3, 4, 5 feet in front of you, and just kind of lingers there, and you walk through that,
and you don't know that like hours ago that they had sneezed or so. But
yeah, I'm not too worried about touching stuff, because, like I said on the podcast last night, I keep a thing of Clorox wipe in my truck. So if I go in and get 2-3 items, I bring them back to my car. I immediately wipe them off, and I wipe my steering wheel off. I wipe my hands, and then I
take your shoes
on.
off and leave them outside.
Yeah,
don't bring them in the house.
That's one other thing they've been saying.
Like I said, I think the way people really are contracting it is not as much as airborne, and unfortunately, the people in the hospitals are more at risk than anything, because they're dealing with these people on an everyday basis, and that's scary. And if you looked at some of the nursing homes and so forth in Washington State, that had a lot to do with it. I'm most definitely not an expert in coronavirus, but it's just tough, man. It's hard to say, and there's still a lot being learned about it.
Right.
So just keep your distance and wash your hands, keep them out your face, and listen to the doctors, listen to the CDC. I would say that most definitely.
Yeah. All right. What else you got? We're about 30-something minutes in here. I don't know. 36, 37. I mean, we could talk about coronavirus all day, but everybody hears that shit all day long. I really don't want to talk a whole lot about that and make a whole show about it, but
yeah,
probably boring as fuck at this point. But
yeah, it's the new religion of the flavor of the times, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. So what's going on with Homegrown Brewhouse? Is it
we're just shut down. Caleb kind of left it up to me on Saturday night when I closed up. Originally we decided to open up this week. I was going to go in and just open up from 4 to 7 all week, but he pretty much left the ball in my court. If I wanted to open up, then we'd be open. If not, we'd be closed. So I just made a last-minute decision a couple hours before we opened on Monday and said, I just don't think it's a good idea, because we'd already cut our food services off. It just wasn't worth it. The week before, we just didn't do enough food sales to justify buying the supplies, having the chance of it going bad, whatever. So we were going to cut the food off anyways, and I said to myself, beer is just not essential. I mean, I would love to go in and interact with people for 3 hours and have some contact with some of my friends and the customers that come in there. I would love to be in there and be drinking some of the beer myself. And, we got TVs. I could definitely be entertained for 2 or 3 hours a day, but I just said, is beer really essential? When you can go to the grocery store while you're already getting essential items and grab your beer while you're there instead of having another point of entry for this virus to spread. Yeah. I just decided it's better to be closed. But
yeah.
So that's it. But it's funny. I remember when I did work last week, I felt like, you remember the Seinfeld episode with the soup Nazi?
Yes.
Where you had to order the soup the correct way and you had to move you had to inch down the bar and then do all the right moves and stuff like that. That's how I felt last week when I worked. When people would come in, I felt like it was almost like the soup Nazi episode where they were wondering if they were doing it correctly. Can I come up to the bar? Can I come in the door?
We had that too. That a lot of people like.
Do I pay with cash? Do I pay with a card? And it was just a lot of weirdness, man. It was funny.
Yeah, a lot of places.
But people were cautious, though. I mean, that's the thing. They weren't just coming in, touching everything, and just being all willy nilly. They came in cautiously and made sure they were doing things correctly. So,
well, a lot of people are doing that. They, paying with only debit now. Cash is. The bear of many diseases. You don't know where those dollar bills have been.
Yeah, anytime because that's all I got is cash. So every time I go and exchange cash with somebody, same thing. I'm getting Purell, wiping my hands down.
Yeah. I mean, it's dirty. Mine's dirty, man. But
it's just amazing that something can live on that for a certain period of time. I'm not sure how long something lives on money.
It's funny that they haven't really, they talk about plastic and other materials, but man, I would love to know how long it would live on a dollar bill, because things I've seen.
I mean, I'm sure I could probably Google it. There's probably an answer out there, but I'm not sure what it is.
Just don't get it from the Enquirer. Yeah, man. We've had a couple of coffee shops, places that I like to go to, frequent to. They're only doing by debit if possible. Hey, can you use their debit card, credit card? What's the idea that this could be the next? People like Bitcoin and all that. It's not true currency in the sense that there's like actual tangible currency, and then maybe that's a future that we're looking into.
Yeah, Slayton and I talked about that last night. Like, what is going to come out of this? What innovations are going to come out of this? And probably not the money thing, but I would think money is probably on the back of people's minds saying, how do we get rid of fucking coins and dollars and be able to do something electronically, and that way we don't have to touch things.
Strip clubs would suck. Strip clubs would suck.
Yeah, strip clubs would suck. How do you do that?
It'd be horrible. You have like a little coin, like a Bitcoin thing.
You got something. I mean, they're dancing in front of you. You're just on your phone, tipping them. Bing, 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 bing.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's nuts. That's a sad world.
We need to figure that out. I mean, maybe we should work on that. Yeah. Figure out how strip clubs work without dollar bills.
They probably just wear gloves and face masks. And,
yeah.
it's a kind of horrifying thought.
But just as far as everything, innovation-wise, I mean, what do you see coming out of it? I mean, we talked last night about,
most definitely,
there's going to be a lot more teleworking. People are going to realize, hey, we don't need to rent all this fucking space for our employees. We could have them sit at home and take out some of the rental costs and the cooling costs and the heat and the lights and all this kind of stuff. And I think a lot of people are realizing they don't need to commute and come into work anymore.
Well, what's going to come out of this most definitely is more gloves and more Lysol and
That's
more
true too.
toilet paper and more...
I wish I would have foreseen this and jumped into Clorox stock or something.
Yeah, these people blow
or toilet
right
paper,
now.
Charmin, anybody.
Those people are like they're making lots and lots of money right
yeah,
now.
that's probably why the market's going back up.
Trees are probably coming down in waves right now.
Yeah.
No, what concerns me is after all this is kind of settled down is the paranoia afterwards, and where people become so, one or two things people are going to either embrace each other, and a lot of that will happen, embracing one another, people that, especially loved ones that could see each other due to the illness and things like that. But the fear that this is going to become a norm. This is something that, every 5-6 months we're going to have to deal with a disease that pops up and are from around the world and quarantine ourselves. And the roller coaster ride of that effect is what worries me. It concerns me about after this.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a little while to adjust back to normal life, I think. We just after 9/11, how long did it take us to trust Muslims again, or to trust anybody to look like that stereotype?
I don't think any of us have.
Stereotypical. Well, it's definitely still lingering. It's still lingering.
Yeah. I don't have that problem, but there are people that still are that way, and it's very live, unfortunately, that people are judgmental. And I know a lot of people of Asian descent have been discriminated due to this virus as well, and it's sad that that's the excuse.
Well, and I mean, let's be honest, a lot of it was perpetuated by our president, Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
Continuing to use the Chinese virus, even though multiple people said, come on, man, chill out with it. And he's finally not doing it anymore. He stopped doing it a couple of days ago, finally. But I mean, it makes sense a little bit. It is from China, if we can all agree on that. But that's not even 100%. And
well, what we know is it's here. It doesn't matter where it's from.
A fucking
it
virus.
Kills everybody, and it kills anyone, and it makes anyone sick. It doesn't matter where you're from, or what your ethnicity is, or what your religious background is, or your gender, or your sexual preference. It's killing people.
Right.
It's killing loved
And even
ones.
if it did originate from China, so what? If it's the same virus, if it originated here or Russia or whatever.
Things come from all over the place, and that has nothing to do with the people of a country or the people of an ethnicity. And that's we live in the 21st century, man. This is it's time that people start looking at things and not being so shallow in that manner about such silly things.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen as far as the social norms do we have? I mean, do you think go back to shaking hands again? Do you think, as far as personal contact with other people nowadays? It
depends on the person, and it's tough because you want to be able to show people in some way that you appreciate them. And the elbow touch and the fist bumps for me have never been fans of. I've always felt they were kind of silly.
I've grown into the fist bump, but for a long time I was like, get out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Hey, it's Leia.
I mean, maybe we can come out with something like some fancy gloves people wear. They're like the Michael Jackson, like the studded gloves. People can wear them like in public. Maybe that's what people were wearing gloves in the first time with the hands, the fingers out. Who knows that the plague and all these things. We forget there have been many other pandemics in time that have wiped out people.
Oh, all the time.
There's reason things have come about because of them, and it's still, this thing's still kind of in its infancy, the process of it, but the afterwards is it's tough to tell. I wonder if this is going to affect the elections. These are the kind of things I worry about, but I try not to harp on them too much. I try not to harp on the things I have no control over, because life is too short. You do the things that you can do, and the things you can't do, you don't worry about them. You do the best you can do, and that's all you can do. And you ask other people to do the same, and try to encourage people not to be selfish and self-centered in a center, and not just think about themselves and think about other people. That's what's important.
Yeah, and that's gonna ramp up. I mean, it's already ramping up. I mean, you know, I know you're not on social media. You're not a social media guy, but I see it all the time now. You know, I'm seeing less and less of the bickering, less and less of the left and right politics, and
well, those are all
less and less of racist posts and things like that. I think people are starting to calm down and become a little more loving during this time, which is understandable. You have to be, I guess. Again, it's one of those things we took for granted that.
I see people more and more when they're walking, they're out, and they're waving.
That's the other thing I see too. Yeah, a lot more people in nature and not looking at their phones or actually interacting and talking with each other.
And if you look at that machine, that computer, and you waste yourself and your energy and your creativity on a phone or a computer all the time, you're missing out on what's in front of you in your life. And I have nothing against phones or Facebook and all. I mean, those things people really love, but there's a time to cut it off and walk away from it and just go outside, take a deep breath, and look around you and appreciate what you have. A lot of people don't do that. I mean, a lot of people, they think they have it so tough, and they don't realize how good they have it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You see somebody bombed out in Syria, you can't even get out from constant bombardment. You see the light of day,
Yeah,
and here we
for
are,
sure. And here we are sitting in our house complaining that we can't go out to McDonald's. Well, we could go out to McDonald's. But yeah, we're sitting. There's other people that are dealing with this virus and are also dealing with a war. Like you said, over Syria and
in a war, and when you have a disease
Iran
like this,
and all these
that
different
affects
places.
them too, and they're in a lot tougher situation. They don't have water or electricity.
Yeah, they can't be sitting here doing the shit we're doing right now. We're on a lockdown. We got a virus killing people.
Paper.
Yeah,
they ain't even heard of probably in that situation. Many people, man. It's this is a scary time for us. I mean, it is a scary time. Let's sit here and sugarcoat it. I mean, I think it's a very scary thing that's going on, but at the same time, we'll prevail. It's just going to take some time. People being mindful of other people in the situation. So,
yeah, right on, man. What else we got?
Well, you've been watching anything recently interesting?
Not really. I was getting ready to start a movie downstairs that was recommended.
The Band Plays On.
The Band Plays On. Have you seen it?
The AIDS epidemic. Yeah, it's great. It's a phenomenal movie. And
I think it was 1993, I think it came out, or 83 maybe. Something like that, 97, 87. But it had Matthew Modine in it. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm getting ready to watch it. I don't think I've seen it. I may have.
It's not a bad movie to watch again, and it really goes into the horrors of it at the time, where we again tends that our leaders like to stick their head in the ground and think things are just going to go away, and that's what happened with that situation too, or maybe they had some other interior motives, who knows? But it was scary how another major pandemic, obviously HIV/AIDS is
which still going on. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we've had is still going on. The viruses that have gone around, swine flu's still out there, Ebola's still out there. I mean, all these things are still there. But something else I watched. Speaking of pandemics, I watched a show called Pandemic, which was on Netflix. Came out 2020, so it's something they had in the can, I guess, or they put together real quickly. But it's 6 episodes, about an hour apiece. Excellent show if you haven't seen that one yet. It's about the Ebola outbreak and swine flu, and about tracking down, where it came from, creating a cure, and then they're also, I don't want to spoil the whole show, but they're trying to develop a vaccine of all vaccines that will, you get this vaccine and it takes care of all these strains of stuff and any future strain.
The zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah.
Because that strain they were working on everyone was injected with, and
right,
becomes zombie.
Could be.
I'm just making that.
No, yeah, we said we weren't going to go into conspiracies.
Well, that was a joke. I mean, don't take that serious.
Yeah.
Seriously though, surprised. I know they have Outbreak on Netflix, but I'm surprised that someone doesn't have Contagion out. And
yeah, we talked about that last night.
Matt Damon and I know Matt Damon. I can't remember the guy's in it, but that was a Lawrence. Was Lawrence Fishburne in that too?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to remember that movie, and I can't. I definitely remember Outbreak and who was in that. But
and that was Dustin Hoffman. In that. And that was kind of like the Doctor Saved the Day. Contagion is not that. Contagion is like
a little darker.
Oh, it's very much darker.
Yeah.
Jude Law's in it too, and but that's a pretty horrifying movie, and even though that movie is horrible and horrifying. That situation's much worse than what we're dealing with. That thing would be, but very similar though, in the spreading of it. Man. But no, I haven't really watched anything too much. I check out documentaries mainly.
I hear you playing, and singing and practicing most of the times, but. I think I'm doing a lot more TV than you are.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I'm doing whole series in fucking days. It's incredible, man.
Yeah, I'm mainly just talking to friends and.
It's amazing, really, actually, that everything is still working like it's supposed to work with everybody. All the bandwidth that's being used right now with people sitting at home on Facebook, on Instagram, streaming, all these streaming services. It's amazing we haven't crashed the entire network.
I'm knocked on wood.
Yeah,
and I think I did read something that Netflix was worried about that crashing the internet or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen any latencies or anything, so so they must have it figured out.
That 5G, man.
Well, speaking of conspiracies, we talked about that last night. Slayton and I. He said he heard from somebody. I can't remember what the fuck he said now, but that. There was a big stink about 5G coming out for a while. Everybody was like, no, we don't want 5G. And they were talking about all these cancer things and all the things wrong with 5G and why we shouldn't have 5G. And then all of a sudden this pandemic hits, and now all of a sudden everybody's got all these 5G towers have gone up. Mm-hmm. Like it was almost planned. Let's start a crisis to where they need this extra bandwidth and stuff to do all these live streams and watch all this Netflix and stuff. And that it rolled out at just a convenient time.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, for sure.
I mean, when you have leaders who you can't tell the truth or not the truth, and I ain't saying any names, but
yeah.
It's always a saying. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. This time, there's way too many Indians and not enough chiefs.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem.
Yeah. But we're not going to go in down that rabbit hole. But
let's don't.
Tess here says we should watch The Tiger King. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about The Tiger King on Netflix.
Yeah,
doesn't interest me. Doesn't interest me at all. From what I've heard about it and the synopsis of the show, I'm not interested in that one.
I mean, I think tigers are very pretty.
Yeah, but I think this thing's a little more Big Brother-ish or something. What I've heard, or The Bachelor, all these kind of reality show things.
One of my friends are watching it, and they swear and part of the reason is they want to get away from, and a lot of people are watching these things to get away from what's going on. So, and I don't blame them.
I mean, eventually, once I've watched all of Netflix, I'll probably get around to that one. That'll be the only thing left.
You're gonna pick up a book actually and start reading?
Oh yeah, maybe. I am doing that though. But I do audiobooks, so everything I do, I'm listening. That way, I can do other things. It's just, I don't know. It's a multitasking world out there.
Or half-assing it.
All right, man. Let's wrap this thing up. We're an hour in. Nobody wants to sit and watch this thing anyways, but like 56 minutes in, 57, something like that. Unless you got something else really interesting you want to talk about that we haven't touched on.
No.
I mean, I'll go for 3 hours if we need to. But
no. I think this is a good start on Facebook, and appreciate everyone who's out there chiming in and checking it out. And
yeah, man, it's been a lot of comments. I wish we could have been a little more interactive, but I felt like I still want to just have a regular conversation like the show Craft Conversations is all about. I didn't want to sit here and just answer questions all the time. But.
Well, does anyone have any questions out there?
No, nobody's really got any questions. I had somebody ask what beer we were drinking earlier.
I had a VooDoo Imperial VooDoo Ranger.
Yep.
I had one of those. So it was delightful.
Tess said something here. The virus can live up to 72 hours on hard and shiny surfaces. That didn't answer the question about money, but that's a good piece of information.
Quarters, nickels, dimes.
Fleming checked out a little while ago, I think. He said, peace and love, stay safe. Janelle's on here. There's a lot of people we know on here, man, obviously, but everybody's saying hi. Nobody's really... everybody wanted to see Leia. There's a whole bunch of shit about Leia. I don't know, but...
I should have had her in my lap. Maybe that would have worked out better.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Something different.
Good, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
And we'll wrap it up. And as always, we'll talk to you guys soon out there. Thanks for joining. We appreciate it.
Good night, guys.